Have you ever experienced this? The setup on the chart looks absolutely perfect. Everything matches your strategy. But the moment it's time to enter the trade, suddenly fear starts taking over your mind. And many times, even when you finally take the trade, you exit too early. The moment you see a small profit. The real problem is not the strategy. And it's not the market either. The real problem is the mental pressure that silently starts controlling your decisions while trading. Hello traders, I'm Priya and welcome back to your own channel. Today's video might completely change the way you look at trading. Because today we're going to talk about the hidden mental pressure that silently destroys your performance. The same pressure that makes you overthink, creates doubt in every trade, and slowly starts killing your confidence. Many traders believe the problem is in the market. But the truth is, the real battle is happening inside their own mind. In this video we'll understand what performance anxiety really is, how it affects your trading decisions, and most importantly, how to overcome it in a practical way. And by the end of this video, I'll share a real-life example that you'll probably relate to very deeply. So let's begin. Friends, just imagine this for a moment. You're sitting in an important job interview. You have to give a presentation, and this job really matters to you. You've prepared everything perfectly. You know every single point. You've practiced again and again. But still, your heart is racing. You keep telling yourself, relax. You're prepared. You know your subject well. And then you finally start speaking. But suddenly, you notice someone in the audience scrolling through their phone. Someone looks bored, and someone isn't even paying attention to you. And instantly negative thoughts start entering your mind. Maybe my presentation isn't good enough. Maybe I'm not able to impress them. What if I lose this opportunity? And that's the moment your confidence starts breaking down. Now your focus is no longer on the presentation. Your entire focus shifts to the fear of failing. You start trying harder, trying to grab everyone's attention. But instead of improving, your nervousness keeps increasing. Your mind slowly starts going blank. Your words begin to stumble. And little by little, you lose your natural flow. Friends, this is exactly what we call performance anxiety. When you have the skill, but pressure starts controlling your performance. And the most dangerous part? The exact same thing happens in trading too. The chart looks clean. The setup looks perfect. But the moment real money gets involved, your mind starts behaving differently. Fear, pressure, overthinking. And suddenly, the same trader who looks confident from the outside starts making poor decisions. In simple words, performance anxiety happens when your focus shifts from the process to only the result. And the moment that happens, you stop performing at your best. Now let's understand this with a very simple example. Imagine you're giving an exam. You've prepared really well. You understand all the concepts clearly. But while solving the paper, suddenly one thought enters your mind. What if I fail? And the moment that thought appears, your focus shifts away from the questions and moves toward fear. Pressure starts building in your mind, and even simple questions begin to feel difficult. Now imagine another situation. You're playing a basketball game. Only a few seconds are left, and the winning shot is in your hands. Normally you could make that shot very easily, but this time your mind starts saying, what if I miss the shot? What if the team loses because of me? And that extra pressure starts ruining your natural game. Friends, this is performance anxiety. When a person becomes so focused on the result that they lose focus on the process itself. And the exact same thing happens in trading. Steenbarger says that this problem is common even inside professional trading firms and hedge funds. Sometimes, when a trader performs well for a while, confidence slowly turns into greed. They increase their position size. And the moment the risk increases, anxiety starts increasing too. On the other hand, after facing continuous losses, many traders become so fearful that they start skipping even perfect setups. Many times, even while sitting in profit, a trader exits the trade too early. Because deep inside, only one fear is running through the mind. What if the profit disappears? So whether it's overconfidence or fear, In both situations, performance anxiety pulls you away from your best performance. You start doubting your strategy. You start doubting your analysis. And slowly, you even start doubting yourself. And that's why success in the market doesn't come from strategy alone. It comes from learning how to handle emotional pressure. Dr. Steenbarger says something very powerful. Our emotions are not created only by situations. They are created by the way we mentally interpret those situations. For example, imagine you're going for a job interview. If your mindset is, I'm capable and there will always be more opportunities ahead, then naturally, you'll feel calmer and more confident. But if your thinking is, if I don't get this job, everything is over, then the pressure instantly becomes intense. You start feeling nervous. You begin overthinking. And you may not even give your best performance. Steenbarger once shared a story from his own life. After finishing graduate school, he went for a job interview. The interview started. And within a few minutes, the entire atmosphere became very relaxed. He was joking around, speaking naturally, and the interview went really well. But why did that happen? Because one thing was very clear in his mind. If I don't get this job, there will be other opportunities. In other words, he wasn't operating under pressure. That's why his body language felt relaxed, his voice sounded confident, and he was able to perform naturally. But now imagine the opposite situation. What if he had been thinking, this is my last chance. If I don't get this job, everything is over. Then probably, he wouldn't even be able to joke naturally. His voice would shake, his mind would overthink, and the anxiety would become visible. Friends, the exact same thing happens in trading. Many traders connect even a small loss to their entire identity. One profitable trade, and suddenly the future looks amazing. But after a few continuous losses, fear starts taking over. Confidence begins to break down. And then, they stop trading to make money and start trading only to avoid losses. And that's where the real problem begins. Because after that moment, the trader can no longer see the market with a clear mind. They start doubting their strategy, overthinking every decision, panicking again and again, and slowly they begin losing their natural trading ability. Friends, a loss is not a disaster. Losses are simply part of the trading game. Every professional trader faces losses. The real difference comes from how you look at those losses. The day you stop treating the market like a life or death situation and start seeing it as a probability game, that's the day your pressure will start reducing. And once the pressure goes down, your performance naturally starts improving. Now there's one more very important thing to understand. Many people try to remove negative thoughts with fake positive thinking. Things like, today I'm definitely going to make profit. The market will move in my favor today. I have to make money today no matter what. These lines may sound motivational, but many times, they actually make performance worse. Why? Because your focus is still stuck on the result. Dr. Steenbarger says something very important. Simply thinking positively doesn't change anything. Real change happens when your focus shifts away from the outcome and moves back to the process. Because the moment you put pressure on yourself by saying, I have to win no matter what, that very moment, your mind stops trading naturally. And after that, making good decisions becomes much harder. Steenbarger says, one of the most powerful ways to overcome performance anxiety is to honestly analyze your worst trading days. In other words, after taking a loss, don't immediately blame yourself. Instead, try to understand what that experience was trying to teach you. Because the moment you start turning losses into learning, that's the moment fear begins to lose its power. And slowly, you start becoming the kind of trader who can stay calm even under pressure. Now let's understand this with a simple trading example. Imagine this. You enter a stock trade. You had a solid setup. The signals clearly suggested that the stock could move higher. So you entered the trade with confidence. In the beginning, the trade even moved in your favor. But suddenly, the market reversed sharply and the price started falling quickly. Now because you had already defined your risk, You accepted a small loss with discipline and exited the trade calmly. And this is where two completely different mindsets begin. The first mindset, the emotional reaction. Man, my luck is terrible. This market is completely manipulated. Now I have to recover this loss in the next trade. And from that moment, anxiety starts growing. Because now the next trade will not come from strategy. It will come from emotion. And in situations like this, traders often fall into revenge trading. Now look at the second mindset, the self-coaching mindset. In this approach, after taking a loss, the trader doesn't panic. Instead, they calmly analyze the situation. They ask themselves questions like, was the entire sector selling off? Was the overall market weak? Was there any major news impact? Did I buy during a larger downtrend? Or did I chase the trade and enter too late? Friends, these are the questions that actually help you improve. These are the questions that transform an emotional trader into a professional thinker. Because now your focus is no longer on the loss. Your focus is on learning. And many times, the most valuable trading lessons don't come from profits. They come from losses. If after every setback, you learn to respond calmly instead of emotionally, then slowly, your fear of the market will start fading away. And that's where real confidence begins to grow. Brett Steenbarger shares a very powerful exercise. He says, every trading day, or at least every trading week, find one strong setup that was technically correct, but still failed to make profit. And then ask yourself, was the market trying to tell me something? Was there any weakness in my execution? Did I ignore the bigger context? These are the kinds of questions that help you evolve as a trader. Because professional traders don't run away from losses, they study them, they decode them. Many times, just by pausing for a while and reviewing the chart calmly again, you start noticing things that you completely missed during the trade itself. And then, in your future trades, you're able to make smarter adjustments. Always remember, even a good loss can make you a better trader, if you know how to learn from it. Now think about this for a moment. What would happen if you started treating every loss as a learning opportunity? Slowly, the fear of losses would begin to fade away. Because now your mind is no longer saying, I failed. Instead, it starts asking, what can I learn from this? And that mindset slowly transforms anxiety into confidence. Now there's another very important piece here, tracking your data. If you regularly track your trading results, over time, you start understanding your own patterns. You begin noticing when your slumps usually happen, how long they last, and how much drawdown they typically create. And that awareness makes you emotionally more stable, because when a slump begins, you don't panic anymore. You simply recognize, okay, I've been through this phase before. And then, you can reduce your position size in time, increase your preparation, and protect yourself from larger damage. Once you accept slumps as a normal part of trading, they stop scaring you. In fact, those difficult phases often force you to look at the market from a new perspective, to discover new opportunities, and to adapt as a trader. Now imagine this. Out of your last 10 trades, 7 ended in losses. Naturally, your mind will start creating doubts. Is my strategy no longer working? Have I lost my edge? But if you've been tracking your data properly, you may already know that after every 30 or 40 trades, a phase like this is completely normal. And that's the real difference between an emotional trader and a professional trader. An emotional trader panics, but a professional trader pauses, reviews, and makes smart adjustments. Friends, performance anxiety starts fading away the moment you give yourself permission to make mistakes. Because mistakes are not failure. Every setback comes with a lesson, so that in the next phase, you can perform stronger and wiser than before. So friends, today's lesson teaches us something extremely important. In trading, the biggest battle is not against the market. It's against your own mind. The moment we start treating every trade like a life-changing event, fear, pressure and anxiety slowly begin controlling our decisions. But the day we learn to focus more on the process than the result. That's the day our trading truly starts changing. Always remember, taking a loss is not failure. Every setback is feedback, and every difficult phase comes to make you mentally stronger. Real confidence does not come from always being in profit. Real confidence comes from learning how to handle losses and pressure calmly. If you found this video helpful and learned something valuable from it, then make sure to hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because your support and feedback motivate me to keep bringing you more powerful lessons on trading psychology. Also, let me know in the comments, have you ever experienced performance anxiety in trading? I always read your comments. I'll see you in the next lesson with the Daily Trading Coach. Until then, stay disciplined, stay calm, and trade smart.